we will not be here on Friday. So we'll be carrying network programming, Mike Gallagher and Dennis Prager. But we appreciate the fact that you're joining us today. And we look forward to covering a lot of things today. When you get to a movie early enough, you get the additional bonus, if you don't mind them, of coming attractions, right? What's on the horizon? What other movies might be coming? Well, we're getting a preview of coming attractions today about what could be ahead of our country and our county. As in New York City today, Joe Biden and Donald Trump will both be there. They will not be in the same place. They will not be remotely in the same place, either literally or figuratively. You say, well, okay, that's New York City, that's Biden, that's Trump. What does that have to do with our, you said, county, Bruce? Well, what it has to do with our county is that in the primary a little over a week ago, Democratic voters in Franklin County favored Shayla Favor as their prosecutor of choice. And Shayla Favor will, I'm sad to say, unquestionably be elected in the fall because she has the one qualification you must have in Franklin County to be elected. Is that competence? No. Is it equal application of the law, expertise, integrity, character? No. It's a D next to her name. She's a Democrat. Every major elected official in Franklin County is a Democrat. Judges have to switch their political affiliation from Republican to Democrat to get reelected. So Shayla Favor is going to get elected in the fall. It's not a disparagement of John Rutan, who's running on the Republican side. It's just a fact. And I've told you that I will always tell you the truth here. John Rutan is not going to win, and to make sure the Dispatch has already gone to great lengths to disparage him. And honestly, John Rutan has said some dumb things that give the Dispatch license to disparage him. But the coming attraction that will be previewed today in New York City as it applies to the city of Columbus is how officials in New York City have demonized and diminished police. And that's the coming attraction. Because when Shayla Favor is elected Franklin County prosecutor, our police are going to be in for what police in New York City are experiencing right now, which is a lack of respect from elected officials, a lack of protection from elected officials, and rampant violence directed toward them. Today, there will be a wake in New York City for 31-year-old police officer Jonathan Diller, who was shot to death by a career criminal the other day. Career criminal was parked in an area where he shouldn't be parked. Diller walked up to the car, guy shot it, killed it. The guy who did the shooting had 21 prior arrests, mostly for drug-related crimes and assault. The guy sitting in the car with the murderer is another career criminal whose nickname is Killa, Killa. Isn't that lovely? You may have seen online pictures of Diller's one-year-old son wearing a T-shirt that said, "My father's life matters." Well, no, it really doesn't. Not to the elected officials in the city of New York, and that is what is going to be ahead of us in Columbus because of Shayla Favor's attitude toward police. She has already been on record criticizing the lack of transparency in the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office on cases involving what? Juveniles who steal cars? Carjackers? The plethora of murders committed by and against teenagers and people in their 20s in the city of Columbus? No. She's on record criticizing a lack of transparency in the prosecutor's office on cases involving police officers and how long it takes for the cases to be resolved, which is a kind way of saying for the police officers to be convicted of something. If you want to know where Shayla Favor stands on taking a measured approach to anything involving a police-involved shooting, consider that in her role as a Columbus City Councilwoman, until she was reelected to it and a month later decided she would run for prosecutor, because then she could really enact her brand of social justice. In her role on Columbus City Council, she sponsored a scholarship for Casey Goodson. Casey Goodson, of course, the 23-year-old man who waved a gun at Franklin County Sheriff's Deputy Jason Meade while he was working a federal marshal's task force Meade confronted Goodson, who would not comply with orders to put a gun down. Meade shot Goodson. Goodson died. We've already had one trial. We'll definitely have another because Jason Meade can't be allowed to walk free thanks to the refusal of a jury of his peers to convict him. Shayla Favor is going to do everything she can. She's a Democrat. Everything she can to put Jason Meade behind bars. So that's the preview of your coming attractions. And it doesn't conjure, in my mind, a difficult scenario to envision in the future where we have an official of one of the police unions here locally writing a letter to someone in government. It won't do any good, nor will the letter sent by the head of the police union in New York City in the aftermath of Officer Diller's death. But I will say the letter is scorching. And what this union official in New York, Vincent Valalong, said to elected officials, appointed officials, people in the city council, people in supposedly the prosecutor's office of New York, is spot on. He said to certain people in city government, don't bother coming to Jonathan Diller's wake today. You know who is coming to Jonathan Diller's wake today? Donald Trump. Donald Trump is going to Jonathan Diller's wake today. You know who's not coming to Jonathan Diller's wake today? Joe Biden. Joe Biden is not coming to Jonathan Diller's wake today. Joe Biden is going to Radio City Music Hall, where he will appear with Barack Obama and Bill Clinton in a big campaign event that they say will raise $25 million, the most profitable single political fundraising event in history, will be conducted today across town from Officer Diller's wake. Donald Trump will be at the wake. Joe Biden will be raising money. Biden has like an astronomical lead in amount of funds raised so far against Donald Trump. If there's anybody who needs to raise money because of the lawfare of Democrats against him, it is Donald Trump. But Joe Biden will shuffle in and hopefully not fall over and hopefully not leave in a box, while Barack Obama and Bill Clinton appear to help him raise money. Now, I understand why the Democrats are doing this, because they love money and money equals power and they love power, and so they'll do it. But it is a ticklish situation when the opening acts are bigger stars than the main attraction. That's definitely the case. When Bill Clinton and Barack Obama show up anywhere, Joe Biden also happens to show up. Here's Karine Jean-Pierre explaining where Joe Biden will be today, not at the officer's wake. All that and more in the Biden-Harris administration. Yes. But of course, she realizes that they do have to say some nice things about a police officer, even though they're not really even remotely bothered that he lost his life in the line of duty. So here is Karine Jean-Pierre assuring you that all their minds are also with the officer and his family. No one believes that. No one believes you pray. No one. Yeah. Sure. Oh, yeah. Here we go.
In our communities, in our nation, and that's why the president signed more than 24 executive actions. That's why we're able to pass a bipartisan agreement.
Okay, I can't take any more than less. It's not a referendum on the career criminals being out. It's not a referendum on no cash bail. It's not a referendum on the lack of consequences for actions. It's a referendum on gun violence. That's what it's a referendum on. No one believes Karine Jean-Pierre prays. What does she pray to? The god of the Isle of Lesbos? What does she pray to? Tell me, please. She prayed to herself. She prayed to Joe Biden. She prayed to Jen Psaki, who stepped aside so the career Peter Principle demonstration, continually failing up, could become a historic person as press secretary. Nobody believes you because you are a liar. Because you traffic in lies and you lie to us every single day. So there's your coming attractions. Shayla Favor in Columbus. Take cover, police officers. And Donald Trump at a wake. Joe Biden. Maybe he'll be at a wake too. Maybe it'll be his own. You never know. You never know.
Sunny to partly cloudy this afternoon. The high today 53. Clouds to shower late tonight, low 39. Partly sunny day tomorrow, high at 61. Clouds and breezy Saturday, shower and thunderstorm mainly early in the day. High Saturday afternoon 65. Easter Sunday, clouds a passing shower and a high near 60. Rain thunderstorm on Monday, high at 65. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Hey, Health Warriors, Dr. Brendan Schreiner here with Revive Your Health Radio on 98.9 FM, The Answer, where every week we're going to give world-class lifestyle education from myself and other healthcare practitioners. So if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, be sure to tune in to Revive Your Health Radio every week on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Revive Your Health Radio with Dr. Brandon Schreiner, Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 and Sunday morning from 9 to 10 on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Excuse me.
Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here. I talked about how horrible nutrition has become for people in our ultra-processed food society. Truth is, it's even worse for our beloved dogs. Seen dog food lately, it's more like dead food. Mr. Briggs is our best friend. And the more adventurous we are, I've realized that food is the most important thing ensuring he's healthy. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black has invested everything into bringing our dogs through the life. He created Rough Greens, not dog food. It's a natural supplement to your dog's existing food, full of essential vitamins and minerals and made right here in America. You don't have to change your dog's food. Just adding Rough Greens to their existing diet will be the best decision you ever made to improve their life. Mr. Briggs has more energy, plays longer, and is overall the best version of himself. Dr. Black is so confident that this will change your dog's life, he is providing a free Jumpstart trial bag for your dog and try it. You just cover the shipping. Head to roughgreens.com/Kirk. That is ruffgreens.com/Kirk. Go to roughgreens.com/Kirk to grab yours today. Roughgreens.com/Kirk.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your check.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me, they calm me down. They make me feel comfortable and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I have a lifetime of experience as a financial planner.
A lawyer.
A homemaker.
An educator.
A mechanic. A nurse.
You know what I am now?
I'm a senior corps RSVP volunteer.
I build homes and young minds. I build parks and playgrounds.
And support our nation's veterans.
I build gardens and help families with their finances. I build healthy futures.
And organize disaster relief. I build teams and friendships.
And families.
I build lives and communities.
And myself. I'm a builder and I lead by experience. How about you?
Join Senior Corps RSVP.
Lead by experience.
SeniorCorps.gov.
Slow down this train. The train is coming. Brett, size it up for us. What do you see?
Well, sorry about that. Dana Perino trying to bust in on my Soft Step Carpet advertisement. I work for Soft Step Carpet. I'm glad to work for Soft Step Carpet. I'd love to help you out. You need new carpet in your home? I'm your man. BruceHooley@gmail.com. Simple as that. I'll return the email. Or go to my website, brucehooley.com, click on flooring, and there you will find a way to leave your information and have me contact you. I don't just want commercial customers. I don't just want residential customers, but I'd love to have you if you're a contractor, a home builder, a remodeler, and you can hook me up with a homeowner who needs flooring. Man, would I certainly appreciate that. It would definitely help us out in the wake of the mounting medical expenses that we are facing. We have great products at Soft Step. We're located very, very close to the 33 Post Road interchange, and I'm in the store on Monday afternoons. But if you want me to deal with you directly, go to brucehooley@gmail.com, brucehooley@gmail.com, or brucehooley.com and click on flooring. There are new details, and they're even worse than the original details, on the sexual battery case involving a minor of a former Worthington Christian high school girls basketball coach. I'll share those with you momentarily, but there's also going on right now in Atlanta, Georgia, an attempt by Donald Trump to have the case against him being carried forward by Fani Willis dismissed. Trump's attorneys are contending before the same judge who exonerated Fani Willis and let her, well, he didn't really exonerate her, but he let her off the hook. Could have bounced her for myriad reasons, didn't. Trump is saying that everything that he's being accused of in the racketeering case against him and 18 other co-defendants is First Amendment protected free speech. Well, we know how the Democrats feel about that, don't we? In the wake of Ronna McDaniel's dismissal from NBC. We know in the wake of Ketanji Brown Jackson's comments at the Supreme Court, we know they hate free speech. And so, of course, they don't think Trump is immune on that. One other note on soon-to-be Franklin County prosecutor Shayla Favor. Just so you know how much she hates cops, guess who was one of her biggest cheerleaders at her victory party after she won? It was Sean Walton. You say, Sean Walton, where have I heard that name before? Sean Walton is representing the mother of Casey Goodson in a lawsuit against Franklin County. Again, Favor sponsored a scholarship in Casey Goodson's name before the trial of Jason Meade, which that's not prejudicial toward a jury at all. That the city council in the city where Casey Goodson died because he wouldn't comply with the police officer's warnings to put his gun down. Shayla Favor sponsored a scholarship in Casey Goodson's name, and the attorney representing Casey Goodson's mom in a civil suit against Franklin County, where Shayla Favor wants to be the chief law enforcement officer. It sounds Fani Willis-like, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. So again, coming attractions, that's what we're going to get here in Columbus, Ohio. There will be no reason, none, zero, unless you want to die, to go into downtown Columbus. It pains me to say that. I got a lot of friends at the Blue Jackets. I got friends who own restaurants. You're taking your life in your hands. I'm not being dramatic. I'm not being melodramatic. You are taking your life in your hands when you go into downtown Columbus. You just are. You just are. It's not a safe city. And Shayla Favor is going to make it less safe. And police officers are going to be less safe. And I just pray that we don't have the worst thing happen, like what has happened in New York, where an officer, 31 years old, who was basically, it's a routine traffic stop. Somebody's parked in a place where they shouldn't be parked. I'm going to go over and tell them. They'll certainly move the car. No, they won't. No, they won't. They'll just start shooting because they're a career criminal, and I don't know why they panicked. I mean, Alvin Bragg would have let him out the next day, maybe even that night. Here's the brother-in-law of Jonathan Dillard, the police officer who was slain. The brother-in-law is also a New York City police officer. We need heroes in our world. We need trustworthy people. We need leaders who do not betray us. That is why the events involving Jason Dawson, the former girls basketball coach at Worthington Christian High School, are so, I can't even think of the right words. Disappointing doesn't even begin describe it. Horrific doesn't begin to describe it. It's a betrayal. It's a violation of trust. This is a guy I knew a little bit. So many levels to the disappointment and the horrific behavior here. The newest details are that it was not just one girl, not just one 16-year-old who played for Jason Dawson, who was abused, victimized by him. It's now two girls. Both were 16 at the time that Jason Dawson had sex with them. The reports are from multiple media outlets that he had sex with one of them 100 times. This is not a, man, I made a mistake and I really, this is a school where they sit in chapel. I don't know if it's every day. My full disclosure, my kids go there. Had no interactions with Coach Dawson, thankfully. I feel horrific. I feel horrific for the parents of these young girls. I feel terrible for these young girls. I feel terrible for the reputation of a school that is celebrating its 50th year. And here's the thing. The national media is going to delight in this. It has been a story locally for 2 days. It's going to become a national story. It's absolutely positively going to become a national story. And the reason why is because it's a way to disparage Christians. And there's nothing that NBC, CBS, ABC love to do more than disparage Christians, Christian schools, private schools, the OEA, the NFT, National Federation of Teachers. They're all going to use this as indicative of what happens at Christian schools, happens at private schools. They don't vet their teachers. They're not this, they're not that. It's, look, I'm none of this gives me pleasure to say. This is the reality. This is the reality. And if Worthington Christian School is not ready for that reality, then they're going to be chewed up by the media monster that is coming for them, to use them as fodder to show that every kid should be in a public school. There's nothing good that happens at a private school. See these kinds of things happen. Of course, all these things happen at public schools too. They don't write about them. They don't publicize them. They don't do video on them. They don't do stories on them when they happen. Or it's a one-off. They're not going to let go of this. This is going to be like a chew toy in the mouth of a pit bull. It just is. And Jason Dawson's a horribly lost person. He graduated from Worthington Christian. He taught at Worthington Christian for years before he was given the leadership position of mentoring and coaching and leading young women. And he abused that trust. He spit on everything that school stands for. He obviously allowed sin to take hold of his life. I feel horrible for him in that regard, but he must answer for his horrific crimes. He should be in jail for a very, very, very long time.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. Former President Trump attends a solemn event today in New York, the wake of fallen NYPD officer Jonathan Diller, 31-year-old fatally shot during a traffic stop on Monday. President Biden is in New York as well. But for him, it's all about the money. He'll be looking to set a campaign fundraising record. Bodies of 2 of 6 missing construction workers, they were on Baltimore's Key Bridge when it collapsed earlier this week, have been recovered from the Patapsco River and are found in a submerged pickup truck. 4 people dead, at least 5 others injured by a man who went on a stabbing spree in Rockford, Illinois yesterday afternoon. Police say a 22-year-old suspect is in custody being questioned, but so far, no word on the motive for the series of attacks. Stocks modestly higher on Wall Street. The Dow is up 5 points, while the NASDAQ is ahead 4. More details at SRNnews.com.
Well, Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, and evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. Because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word FAITH to 989898 and you're going to be blessed by taking action.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart. Laura Trump provides a fresh and honest perspective on the issues that matter to you on the Right View podcast, now available on the Salem Podcast Network.
The number of Americans, and I think this is part of the problem right now, the number of Americans getting their news from TikTok quadrupled in the past 3 years. It really kind of terrifies me for what is to come for this country.
Subscribe to the Right View on Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Planning for retirement is no small task. If you don't know where to start, join Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group every Saturday at 10 and 2 for Retire Ready Ohio. Rodney shares helpful tips and strategies that just might change the course of your retirement. Listen every Saturday, 10 and 2, Retire Ready Ohio, with Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group. Offers insurance services. Investment advisory services are offered through Peters Wealth Group, a state-registered investment advisor.
You'll sleep better knowing you got a great deal on a great mattress because you got it from Mac Mattress and the Discount Shopping Club. Right now, get a $500 certificate from Mattress for any mattress purchase for only $250. These certificates go fast, and when they're gone, they're gone. For details, log on to the Discount Shopping Club at 989theanswer.com.
He's the voice of a new generation. What's right in the greatest country ever can see. He's Charlie Kirk. And you can hear weekdays from 6 to 7. And again, 11 to midnight. Station for news, opinion.
Mike Lindell and the 2,000 plus employees of MyPillow make a request, and the request is that I thank you for your loyalty to them, allowing them to stay in business. It would have been easy for them to go out of business in the aftermath of the 2020 presidential election when Mike Lindell felt like it was his duty to insist on election integrity and asking questions. I don't know why he did that. I mean, after all, we were told the night of the election, we were told it was the most secure election in U.S. history. How they knew that, I don't know. And here's what I do know about MyPillow.com. If you want the best products to help you get the best sleep and you want to pay as little as you've ever paid for them, thank you, big box stores, for canceling Mike Lindell so the rest of us could get a price break. Then you go to MyPillow.com and you use my promo code Bruce. The MyPillow, phenomenal. It has cured my neck pain because the MyPillow, as advertised, never loses its shape when you wash it and dry it. Novel concept. The Giza Dream Sheets, $59.98 for a queen size set, $69.98 for a king size set. Never lower in price than now when you go to MyPillow.com and use my promo code Bruce. So a couple of more details on the Jonathan Diller, New York City police officer, murdered by a career criminal. His home is in Massapequa, New York. There was a 10-mile long thin blue line painted on the highway as Jonathan Diller was taken to the funeral home where today he will have his wake and President Trump will be there. Joe Biden will be at a fundraiser. Also, New York City is reeling from the death of 54-year-old Jason Bolts. What happened to poor Jason Bolts? He was riding the subway. And a mentally ill person out on bond awaiting trial in July pushed him into the path of a train, and Mr. Bolts was run over and killed. This is a demonstration of violent crime in New York City being up 53% since the pandemic. 53% since the pandemic. But Eric Adams, mayor of New York City, says not to worry.
This is not one of them. Our focus must be this: recidivism, severe mental health illness, random acts of violence. That is the mission.
We're losing police officers. We're losing district attorneys. We're losing probation officers. We're losing parole officers. The foundation of the public safety apparatus is dissolved.
The foundation of the public safety apparatus is vanishing before our very eyes. But they're not a city out of control. If you're losing police officers, probation officers, district attorneys, people are pushing random citizens they don't know into the path of subway trains. By the way, you know what the new trend in New York City is? Women are being punched in the face by random people who walk up to them on the sidewalk. Most of them not American citizens, or they don't look like they were born in America. But the city's not out of control. Sure, you're down like hundreds of police officers from normal. I think it was the last 1,000. So Eric Adams, don't panic. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Now, by the way, we have the same kind of craziness going on in the Franklin County Jail. Here's the headline. Bethany Bruner, Columbus Dispatch reports that a Franklin County Jail inmate used an 8-inch shank to stab a fellow inmate in a holding cell. Now, that's the main news here. But here's the headline behind the headline. I want you to listen to the ages of the people involved in this story and in the circumstances that led to, prompted, motivated one of these criminals to fashion a weapon out of a piece of steel, sharpen it, and stab someone else in the Franklin County Jail. Listen to the ages. Charles Fleming, 19, is accused of using the sharpened piece of metal to stab Tayshawn Gavin, 20, several times in the neck and head. Both men were being held, 19 and 20, both men were being held on murder charges at the time of the stabbing. Fleming, who is 19, is accused of the August 5th shooting of 23-year-old Krishan Fisher. Gavin, 20, is accused of the March 2022 fatal stabbing of 18-year-old Chaz Fleming, who is Charles Fleming, age 19's brother. Chaz Fleming was found shot inside a car near Easton Town Center in March of 2022. So we've got 19 and 20 in a stabbing incident because of the murder of 23-year-old brother and because of another. I mean, just the ages are just incredible. 18-year-old, 23-year-old, 20-year-old, 19-year-old. Andrew Ginther, working on the city being the safest it's ever been. Joyce Beatty, head of the Congressional Black Caucus, getting it done for Linden like no previous congressional representative ever has. Zach Klein, city law director, making our city safer every single day. All Democrat Columbus City Council focused on safety, spending $100 million on a bike path. Shay LaFavor going to go after the cops, not after the 19-year-old, not after the 20-year-old, not after the 23-year-old, not after the 18-year-old, because she said putting them in prison will increase crime. Remember, you got to minimize incarceration to reduce crime. Minimize incarceration. I think she knows what minimize means. It's all about ideology. It's all about getting elected. That's just disgusting. I mean, that story right there. If I'm the mayor of the city of Columbus, I'm calling a meeting of everybody in my administration, and I'm putting this on the table. I'm handing every single one of them a copy of it, and I'm saying, we are not having this. Whatever we got to do, whatever we're going to spend on stupid crap like a $100 million bike path or relocating the Christopher Columbus statue for some woke fools on the Ohio State campus who think he's a colonizer, whatever we got to do, We are going to stop this crap from happening in our city. But instead, what was it, a couple of months ago? It was before my medical leave. We had an organization of Black businesses who stood up and said no to the Columbus City Schools proposed levy because they were, I dare to say, holding Columbus City Schools accountable for the rotten test scores of kids in Columbus City Schools. And they said, no, we can't stand behind this. And they had the head of the NAACP, can't stand behind it. And then what happened? What happened? It took a day and a half before we got the bootlick apology. Well, we didn't understand the levy and we need this and we need that. And you know what? You fools in this city who voted for the levy, I have zero sympathy for you when your tax rates go up in the reassessment because you voted for additional millage for a city school system that allows that these are the products of your Columbus City school system. Charles Fleming, who's 19, who stabs 20-year-old Tayshawn Gavin. And Fleming is accused of killing 23-year-old Kreishan Fisher. And the other guy murdered somebody too. It's just, when are you going to demand better? When are you going to demand better? When are you going to stop voting for this stuff and then whining about the fact that your taxes go up and nothing happens to make life in the city better? How long have you lived here? How long? I've lived here since 1988. And you know what? This city was not always like this. I was single back then, and I thought nothing about my personal safety when I'd go to the Ohio Theater, the Palace Theater, when I'd go downtown to eat, when I'd go to German Village, when I'd go to the Short North. I thought nothing about my personal safety. I wasn't like super brave and full of valor and courage. It was a safe city. Now it is a crap hole. Because why? You voted Democrats, Mike Coleman first, and now Andrew Ginther into the mayor's office, and they have made this city much less safe and a lousier place to live than it was under the control of mayors like Buck Reinhardt and Greg Lashetka. It is a lousy city compared to what it used to be. It just is. It's inarguable. The crime numbers prove it. The poverty numbers prove it. The assaults prove it. The test scores in Columbus City schools prove it. And you just keep voting for it. You know what? You get what you vote for. And I don't feel sorry for you. It is impossible to free fools from the chains they revere. It is impossible to free fools from the chains they revere. You revere democratic rule. You revere woke policy. I can't do anything to free you from your chains.
Sunny to partly cloudy this afternoon. The high today 53. Clouds to shower late tonight, low 39. Partly sunny day tomorrow. The high at 61. Clouds and breezy Saturday. Shower and thunderstorm mainly early in the day. High Saturday afternoon 65. Easter Sunday, clouds, a passing shower, high near 60. Rain, thunderstorm on Monday, high at 65. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Hi, it's Bruce Hooley, and I cannot wait for spring and summer to arrive. Can't wait to get back outside and tend to the landscaping. Gives me quality of life. But you know what? Man, have those aches and pains. It can be a real bummer. If you're in the same boat that I am, maybe a little elbow, hip, joint pain somewhere, I'd like you to consider an awesome non-surgical option that I have a ton of faith in. It's called QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics helps your body do what God designed it to do, heal itself. It's advanced regenerative medicine where they take the platelets in your body and concentrate them and give them back to your body in the area where you're having pain. That's why I say QC Kinetics helps your body do what it's designed to do, which is
okay.
Itself.
Final segment of the hour, final segment of the week, as I'm off tomorrow.
Medicine forever and endless doctor's appointments, or you can call QC Kinetics and get the relief that thousands of others have. Call QC Kinetics today at 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. 4544 QC Kinetics. This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-273-5214 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-273-5214. That's 800-273-5214. What do you have to lose? Call 800-273-5214. Again, 800-273-5214.
Police state is the government's quantum control. MAGA conservatives.
These are anti-government. Freedom of religion, freedom of speech. Violent extremists, and they must be dealt with. MAGA Republicans threaten the very foundation of our republic.
Mass surveillance, censorship, and armed attacks. There's nowhere to hide.
FBI, we have an arrest warrant.
15 more units on my property.
Military-style soldiers pointing an automatic rifle at my head.
Are we becoming a police state?
It may be the Russia other people grew up in, but not my America. Directed by Dinesh D'Souza, Debbie D'Souza, and Bruce Hooley. Police state sounds the alarm.
What we need is a person, and then we go find out what crime you did. How did we give the state this kind of power?
Police state. They have their lists. Are you next?
If they're coming for me, they're coming for you.
Police state. Buy it or stream it now at salemnow.com. Salemnow.com.
I didn't want to talk. She just sat with me. That was all I really needed.
We got back. One day he called me out of the blue, and it's comforting to know that I always can count on him to have my back.
She called me from time to time. I really didn't think I needed any help.
It took me from being really depressed to feeling like somebody cared to give me some hope. Just that one text.
Be there. Your call, your presence, your words, your support. Be there and help save a life. Learn more about preventing suicide at veteranscrisisline.net.
Well, there's no reason for you to go without great steak this summer because I've already told you the avenue to get it is to go to riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley. Pick your bundle, pay your fee, and wait for it to arrive on your doorstep. It will be frozen. It will be flash frozen after it has been aged to perfection, after it has been butchered on the premises of the ranch out west where the Black Angus cattle were bred and raised with perfect marbling in mind. And no hormones, no antibiotics ever, and every cut is USDA Choice and Prime. A challenge, go into Kroger, Giant Eagle, Whole Foods even, and try to find USDA Choice and Prime beef. I doubt you can. If you can, it will be priced higher than you will find at riverbendranchsteaks.com because it's such a big ranch to do such a volume that they sell it to you much cheaper than Omaha Steaks or Moink or Good Ranchers or anything else. And none of them control the process from beginning to end as they do at riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley. So tomorrow we will not be here. What will you do with your day? How will you entertain yourself? Well, you can go to Indian Lake State Park if you want to, because it will reopen tomorrow, just 2 weeks after the EF3 tornado that rolled through the area about 15 miles from my hometown. I know the area well. The area where it was hardest hit is an area populated with mobile homes and not very affluent folks. Tornado was 1,000 yards wide and covered 31 miles. Estimated wind speed 155 miles an hour. My brother lives in the area. Thankfully, was not suffer any damage like the poor folks of Lakeview and Russell's Point did. Fox Island, where I used to have family reunions when I was a kid, will require more cleanup and will remain closed for a little bit longer. The United Way of Logan County reports that it has received in the last 10 days. This is great. This is awesome. This is the epitome of the kindness of people toward others who are less fortunate. They have received in the last 10 days $1 million in contributions for tornado relief for the victims. Now, they will form a committee, and the victims themselves will decide how this money is used. But they have a lot of challenges there. People are without homes. I don't know if they were insured or not, but that's awesome. Really, really great when people do those kinds of things. Unfortunately, there are a lot of knuckleheads out there who are not thinking of anyone but themselves, and whose understanding of things is about like a tornado, 1,000 yards wide, but the understanding is only about an inch deep. Much of the crowd on Sunday at the University of Michigan is in this camp. The president of the school, Santa Ono, was trying to conclude his remarks on a day where they were there to honor academic achievement at the University of Michigan. And as he was wrapping up his remarks, of course, the idiot Gaza protesters had to start in.
This is the 101st year that our most outstanding students gathered in this extraordinary hall to be celebrated as the University of Michigan's leaders and best. It is a fitting venue to honor our achievements.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I would like to in honor of our students, let's move to the remainder of the program. Thank you very much, everybody.
So they got their way. They shouted him down. He sat down, and the program ended. This is not how this should be handled. Delano Squires, who's a phenomenal follow on Twitter, he's a research fellow in life, religion, and family at the Heritage Foundation. He contributes to the Blaze and some other really good organizations. Delano Squires tweeted the video of Ono, and he said, here's what he should have said. Security, remove these people. We acknowledge that students have a range of views on geopolitical issues, but as long as I am the president, order will never be subordinate to political theater. This is a university, not a daycare facility for entitled adults. Amen. Amen to that. But you know who the chief culprits are in bowing to the Gaza morons is the Biden administration. We'll have more in hour number 2 of the show, just on the other side of the top of the hour news, on how Biden's position has changed on the Israel-Hamas war since Hamas went into Israel on October the 7th, and without a shred of justification, murdered 1,250 innocent civilians and took over 200 innocent people hostage, including 6 Americans who are still unaccounted for, and you never hear a peep about from our liberal media, but I repeat myself, because they are too busy excising Ronna Romney McDaniel from the airwaves of NBC to steward their sacred platform. By the way, the Babylon Bee had a hilarious story. Babylon Bee, of course, is a satirical site. They said, they show Ronna Romney McDaniel with a very cropped haircut. And they say, in a last-ditch attempt to save her job, Ronna McDaniel gets a lesbian haircut. Yes, if she declare herself non-binary or something, she might have a better chance of staying on NBC. But alas, she will not. Although, thankfully, we do have people on NBC who would stand up and never, ever, ever, ever allow a crazy person like this to say something like this, right?
There were a bunch of different reasons why the election turned out the way it did. And I take responsibility for those parts of it that I should. But Jane, it was like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation. This wasn't on the level. I don't know that we'll ever know everything that happened, but clearly we know a lot and are learning more every day. And history will probably sort it all out.
Thank goodness she'll never get on NBC of being an election denier like she is. Now, that was not Ronna McDaniel. If you didn't recognize the voice, it was, of course, Hillary Clinton, who continues to prattle on about the 2016 election being stolen from her. So when they say Ronna McDaniel is not allowed on NBC because she's an election denier, and that is exactly what they're saying, well, it's a little bit hard for me to square the two.
Because of Ms. McDaniel's and her involvement in election and stuff. And I'm grateful that our leadership was willing to do the full, strong, resilient thing.
Oh, thank heaven forbid we not have diversity of thought on NBC. We must all hate Trump together. That's what they said, when they fired Ronna McDaniel. They said that the newsroom had to be cohesive and aligned. In order for it to function, the newsroom had to be cohesive and aligned. Well, I would agree with the first part. It has to be cohesive. Can't have anarchy in your newsroom. But aligned? Like you all have to think the same thing? That's a no. Actually, aligned is not a thing at a network news show. It can be at a cable news network, but not at a network news show. You're supposed to appeal to all viewers. If only it were only NBC. Let me read you the headlines today from the opinion page at the Columbus Dispatch. Would you like to hear the headlines? I have 5 of them. Number 1, Donald Trump has broken my Ohio. Now I hope and pray. Number 2, Columbus City Council response to Gaza, pathetic. In other words, they didn't do enough for Gaza with their wimpy little no one cares resolution. Number 3, Supreme Court's dangerous Easter eggs lets states define insurrection. Number 4, Christopher Columbus was a scumbag. Columbus must not reinstate his statue.
CoStar says that also the bodies and NTSB chief executive Jennifer Homedy says the ship's cargo several containers of hazardous
for tons of hazardous materials, mostly corrosive, flammable, and some miscellaneous hazardous materials. Last night, hazardous materials which would include lithium-ion batteries.
Also, comments not at all happening with the United States. State Department senior advisor Mary Bissell says the U.S. decision plays right into the hands of the terrorists.
Effectively, what we're doing was isolating Israel and according to it, and essentially gave a green light to actors like Hamas to continue their terror.
The big slips may be falling next week at Ford. The automaker reportedly plans drastic cuts in the number of hourly workers at its Dearborn, Michigan factory that builds the F-150 Lightning pickup truck. The sales of electric vehicles are slow. Former Connecticut Senator Joe Lieberman has died. He was more on these stories at townhall.com. So the situation between the Philippines and China apparently not getting any better. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. says his country will implement countermeasures proportionate and reasonable against attack by China's Coast Guard and maritime militia in the South China Sea.
Further, so that the cost attacks and track vessels into waters in the Philippines or conflict. How China so how to make China authorities say that were that suggests the Philippines are hell that the effective between China and the Philippines in the South China Sea.
Correspondent Michael Bristow. Breaking news out of all.com. U.S. economy has a 3.4% annual pace from October through December. Most promises the staples of that space has 42%. Part of this price measure of the nation's gross domestic product accelerated. It's 4.9%.
Kimberly Braswell. Let's look her up. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for watching. Sorry, hour number 2 can be seen on the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page or the 989theanswer.com Facebook page. Hope you all have an awesome Good Friday. Reflect on the sacrifice that Jesus made for us at the cross, and have a phenomenal Easter, celebrating the redemption that we all have through Christ's sacrifice on our behalf. With that, have a great weekend.